Now to our top stories. The Democrat Socialists of America are making headway after Trump's win, tripling its membership since November. A new website allows hurt snowflakes to live in their own alternate fake reality where Hillary is president. But first, just how one-sided and colluded is the mainstream American media? So much that New York Congressman Jerry Nadler wants to pass a resolution condemning President Trump from attacking them. Joining us is the World Report senior analyst, Maury Beschloss, whom you can follow on Twitter at @mbeschloss. Maury, it's been very obvious for a long time. The American media, the press, has been colluding with the Democrat Party, pretty much the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. But this is sinking into some really weird, scary areas. Do you agree?
Well, not only that, but I have never, in all the years I've been around, seen so one-sided political hypocrisy as you get from the Democrat media. They don't tell the truth anymore. There used to be, the First Amendment means you're supposed to be able to say whatever you want. It didn't say you're supposed to lie all the time. They're liars. They make up stories. And they're vicious, and they go after anybody that doesn't believe like they do.
I mean, it's happened for many, many years. Nixon went through it. Reagan went through it. You go back far enough to even Reagan, you only had a handful of media outlets, and they were all basically from the left. But you're right, they didn't create a fake narrative or a fake alternative to the facts, which is what we see today.
No, it's almost as if we know that there is huge amounts of money behind these people, and they are told what to do. This is coming from Germany, as I always mention, that this is no better than was in Nazi Germany when you only had one point of view, and that was Hitler's point of view.
Oh, you have Pravda in the old Soviet Union?
Yeah, well, they were the Stalinists. But I think it was much more heinous in Germany because they were out to kill people. In Russia, they just killed them, but they didn't talk about it.
Well, we're seeing some violence in America now, too. This is becoming very dangerous.
See, that was another thing. You go back in our history. We have a 45th president in Donald J. Trump. But normally what would happen is once the election was over, there was a tendency for America to come together and say, we'll get him the next time. But this time, he's the president, we'll go along up to a point. And even after a guy like Nixon, who was always looked at as a negative, kind of surly, mean person,
SOB,
he had a chance to have a recount in the state of Illinois when he lost to Kennedy, and he said, no, I think Kennedy won fair and square, and I'll try it again the next time. The point is that he thought at that point in time that the thing was not to divide America any further. Jimmy Boy, the peanut farmer, he actually announced his loss prematurely the night before. When they were counting the votes, they didn't even have the votes in yet. And he came on and said, I concede to President Reagan.
Well, he got trumped, though. To pardon the term, but he got trounced.
Yes, but I mean, he also was leading by 30% a couple months before. So.
But that was in the polls.
In the polls,
So now we go back to fake news, one-sided media, propagandists. And that's exactly what they did this time, too. Hillary was way ahead. Trump had no chance to win.
A lot of this is based on the fact that there is less knowledge out there today than ever in my lifetime that I've seen.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, people that go to college just don't learn anything.
Oh, okay.
They get propaganda from the...
Because as far as the knowledge that's available, I mean, we've never had access to more knowledge than we do with the
online,
internet.
Yes.
And
yeah, well, sure. There's no question about it, but they are told what to think. So they're more anti-Semitic, they're more racist, they're anti-Caucasoid, they're against the white people. Everything that's taught in colleges today, from what I hear, is negative. It's who are you supposed to dislike or hate, not who are you supposed to get along with.
And now, New York Congressman Jerry Nadler, pretty far left kind of guy, he wants to pass a resolution that condemns President Trump from allowing to criticize and attack the media. I've never heard of anything so ridiculous. These people are really, really starting to make me nervous.
To me, there are 3 states which probably, it'll never happen, ought to be in a class all by themselves on the negative side. California, Illinois, and New York. Yeah, those are the people that would vote against the worst Democrat against the best Republican.
Well, and it's interesting, here in California, we're looking at one of the greatest states in the nation, obviously, beautiful,
38
rich,
million.
huge economy, but our politics has left us crumbling. We can't even handle a rainstorm anymore because of the ignorance and the politicians that have just flat out ignored the infrastructure that we have here.
To me, the worst city in the United States today is Hollywood. The bills that they come out with, the propaganda, they have a command because they get the young people. Oh, they're going to see the movies, and they're going to hear the music, if you can call it that, and consequently, they listen to these professors tell them the lies, one on top of the other, and to them that is the truth. And consequently, what you're getting now is that so-called millennials are not a good generation.
No, and there's a huge movement right now within the college campuses to stifle free speech. I mean, they've actually had speech codes now, which is starting to infringe on elimination of free speech.
Well, not only that.
Now, do you remember when in the 60s the left always said, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend your right to say whatever you want.
Well, they never meant it, but at least they said it. That's right.
Right.
The point of demarcation as far as our values are concerned happened in 1965. And I blame our deep involvement in Vietnam, or Indo-China, which it was known at the time. And you know whose fault that really was? Lyndon Baines Johnson. Kennedy saw what was happening in Indo-China, and he realized that this was not our game. Let's stay away from there. It's going to get worse. And we had certain observers there. We had people trying to help train some of the troops. But he said, let's get out of there. Isn't that interesting? He was assassinated. I'm not making any charges, but I have a pretty good idea who was responsible for that assassination. And that, in my opinion, was the guy who wasn't going to be the vice presidential candidate in 1964.
It's quite a heavy charge.
It is, and I believe it.
Getting back to the fake news, the alternate news, the propaganda, there's a website that was put together for special snowflakes where Hillary Clinton is actually the president, and they can go and they can live in this fantasy world. I mean, this is how crazy that we've gotten, especially on the left. We were not happy with Barack Obama for, I could go a laundry list of reasons.
From the very beginning.
But we never fell off the deep end like the left is doing in this country today. I mean, you can't even get out and wear a Trump hat without being attacked.
There was nobody more inadequate, incompetent, and lacking of knowledge to be a president than Obama. But we had committed ourselves as good Americans that if he won the election, we were going to support him. He was the president. And the same thing happened when he was reelected. I can assure you, if it went the other way, you wouldn't have had the acquiescence from the voters that you had when Obama was elected.
Well, no, you're seeing that manifest itself right now after the Trump victory in 2016. These people have now become treasonous, I believe. That's a pretty hard word to use.
You know, now there's a "not my president." You know, who gives them the right to say "not my president"? Why don't they leave the country? Let them go to Canada.
Well, I would have to. There's a lot of those people that aren't citizens of the country, and they're correct. He's not their president.
Well,
but that's another issue.
You know
for
what
another
my
time.
point is. Yeah.
I do. So this whole media transition that we're going through right now, I think is going to shake out. We've always said this, that the pendulum swings very far to one side, very far to the other. And I think we're seeing it swing back very far to the right. And I think that the left is really just becoming unhinged and almost laughable.
I'm going to make a prediction that a year from now, this country is going to be ruled with an iron fist. I hate to say it, that we had not a dictatorship like you have in South America and these would-be dictators in Asia and so on, but a president who's not going to put up with this nonsense. And it's no accident that most of the people in his cabinet are former generals.